Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy, the Trae. Thank you so much for tuning into the WellRED podcast. WellRED comedy.com. That is where you can find out where we're going to be when they start letting us travel. Also, you can grab our merch from the merch store. T-shirts. Our book, The Liberal Redneck Manifesto, Dragging Dixie Out of the Dark. Our album, WellRED, live from Lexington, all that good stuff. If you're not currently listening to our other podcast, Drew Morgan has Into the Biscuit with DJ Lewis. Trae Crowder, of course, has The Evening Skews with Smart Mark Agee. And I myself have Through the Screen Door with Corey Ryan Forrester and Matt Kuhn. Please give them a subscribe, a download, tell all your friends. Before we hit record on this particular episode, we were talking about trampolines, and that is where we will begin. Please enjoy this episode. We love you, and tell your friends.
They're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread, but sex they care way too much, but don't give a fuck. They're the liberal rednecks that makes some people upset, but they got 3 big old dicks that you can suck.
Like kids' bones be more rubbery because they dumb and fall and stuff, and so it's harder for them to break them. But y'all didn't. We of course wrestled. Wrestling was a huge use of the trampoline, but we also would put it up and under a basketball goal.
Oh, it's like that right now, even with the cage. I don't know if you could see.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did that, and then I was telling him when we were talking about launching Trae, they'd try to launch me into a tree. We'd put it under a tree, and I could climb the tree and jump out. But the real goal was for my brother and his friends who were bigger to launch me up into a limb, and I grab it. And that was probably the most dangerous thing we did. We had a few broken arms. We had one broken breastplate that looked like a broke neck. It looked like a neck. This kid's chin hit right there, like way down low on his chest.
We all got, everybody at least once, like, flew off of it for sure. But somehow we avoided any, like, I can't remember anybody breaking a bone or nothing like that. Miraculously. At one time, somebody launched Corey Barlow, and it's like he shot straight sideways somehow. And like, I don't even know. And like in my direction, but backwards. Long story short, his ass hit me upside the head, full speed, and like almost knocked me smooth out. He almost knocked me smooth out with his butt.
We probably had
some hurt really bad.
We probably had some broken noses, but like you don't really diagnose that. Like you just get hit in the nose and it bleeds, and then later you look different forever.
Well, we had cousin Amanda broke her arm. My 5th grade girlfriend broke her arm at my birthday party. Cousin Billy sprained his wrist. Cousin Jared sprained his ankle, like bad. And then Curtis LaRue broke his breastplate doing backflips and landed on his head. We got to where we could do 5 backflips in a row. And he was going for 5 or 6, but he did it on the 4th one. He got ahead of himself.
Yeah, you can't do that.
It's like Georgia in the playoffs.
Boy, that was right there, wasn't it?
Yeah. You're back in Morgan County now, and of course, Corey's still in Chickamauga. I got a thing. It happened a few weeks ago now, but it's not like it was some huge.
Look
story,
at Trae
so
just being like, I'm the only one that stuck it out. I'm still here in California. Y'all are both back in, fucking ground zero.
Not where I meant, or not what I meant. A thing I've been meaning to bring up, but just haven't really got a chance to is I don't know if y'all saw it. It was like a minor news story a few weeks ago. And also, I can't even remember now where it happened. I feel like maybe Colorado. But all these schools are doing Zoom shit now, obviously. Yeah. Or, virtual Zoom sessions for school. And at one of these schools, again, I think it was in Colorado, a kid the police got called and sent to a kid's house because he signed on to do his class. And there was, like, guns on the wall, like a gun rack or something on the wall. And the cops came and all this other shit. And Katie asked me, she told me that she was like, if you were a teacher, and I feel like the kid was like, again, there's so many details that are absolutely pertinent that I do not remember right now, but it was like elementary, like 4th grade, something like that, 4th or 5th grade. She's like, if you're a 5th grade teacher and you're doing these Zoom classes and there was a kid with a gun mounted on the wall behind him, how would you react to that? And not trying to be funny or anything like that at all. The first thing I said was, well, where am I at? Because if I was a teacher at the school I went to in Salina, like literally, I don't think I would think twice about it. Like I
No.
really would. Like
Matter of
if
fact,
that-
you may be
know.
like, "What? Oh shit, is that your paws?"
yeah, right. Yeah,
You know?
yeah, exactly. But if I was like a teacher here in Burbank, I'd be like, oh, that's fucking. I don't know about that. That's wild. But
Right.
I was just wondering what y'all. If
I
you
mean-
think that's still, I tell you, when we were all in school at that age, of course, you couldn't have done Zoom classes or whatever. But like, no one in the world would have thought anything about something like that happening. I know for a fact.
Well-
but I'm wondering if y'all think that is still the case now in like
So-
Morgan County and Chickamauga, or is it different even there?
So
at
when I
this
was,
point?
so like Columbine happened when I was in 5th grade. So it like, I definitely remember because when I was in 2nd grade, I got a gun pulled on me at school. Like a kid,
Jesus.
yeah, like a kid, like
That checks out.
So, this is it. This is before I was in Chickamauga, by the way.
Just want to real quick. 2nd grade.
Yeah, 2nd
Yeah.
grade.
It's a 2.
Yeah, 2nd grade. I was sitting there, and we had just got the the desk that not the ones that lift up, but the ones that just got the little slot here. You know what I mean? Like in front of you, where your books just go right in front of you.
Yes.
We just got them, and I guess this old boy just been waiting on that because it's a perfect place to put his gun. And so we were sitting there, and me and my buddy Brandon Dennis, and I won't say this dude's name, even though, like, I mean, goddamn, I hadn't heard of him in years. I'm sure he'll be fine. I don't want to disparage him. I don't want to disparage the kid that pulled a gun on me in 2nd grade, but I'm sure he's fine. But anyway, oh, dude, quick story about him. One time, now his mama shot herself years later, but she was a fucking show, son. So one time,
Same gun?
might
Was
have
it the same gun?
No, it wasn't the same gun because it was a shotgun. We always heard she used her toe, and I've seen her toes before because she used to come to the ball field barefoot. She could have pulled it off. So, anyways, one year he was on my ball team with me. This is after he'd pulled the gun on me. My daddy goddamn drafted him because I guess he was like, let bygones be bygones, and not like he pulled one on Kirby. So, anyways,
Yeah, man. Plaxico Burris. What are you gonna do?
we was having the float situation for like the opening day of baseball, and so my dad had a trailer on the back of his Jeep, but it wouldn't fit all the players, so we had to have another car fit half the players on this, half the players on that. Well, my dad, we've got like a banner on the side. I can't remember what we were. I think we were the Reds or something like that this year. So we had a banner on the
Yeah,
side.
for sure. The Reds.
Chickamauga Reds or whatever. Well, the lady, she was supposed to put a banner on the side of her truck, but she didn't. She got drunk the night before or something and forgot to do it. So she came down there and she just spray painted Chickamauga Reds on the side of her truck. And for years, until the day she died, it still said Chickamauga Reds on the side of her truck. She just spray painted it on the fucking truck. Anyways, we sitting there in class, and I was jawing off to him. I ain't gonna lie, I was fucking around. And by God, he just pulled a fucking gun out, and he's like, "Well, if I fucking shot you upside the head, motherfucker," and I'm like, "God damn." 2nd grade, so he got sent to the principal's office and home, and that was it. He was back at school the next day,
Yeah.
But then Columbine happened in 5th grade, and shit did change a little bit.
Yes,
but at the same time, now it'd be one thing if that kid was sitting there doing his Zoom class and he's like holding a gun or something, or there's like a gun on the table. But like, I don't know, man. Like if it's on the rack. 5th grade, I mean, goddamn, 5th grade,
Dude,
we're from
like,
5th grade. You've already shot something.
Look behiund me.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like in my mind, it's something like that. Now, maybe it wasn't. It could have been like a fucking
If you're
Glock
Colorado?
hanging on a nail or something. I think.
Those are muzzle
I guess
loaders.
I will.
Those
Yeah.
are muzzle loaders.
Well, like, Corey, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right. After Columbine happened, it's weird because, like, I feel like now you think about all the school shootings and stuff that happen now. Sometimes you think back and are like, man, I can't imagine how fucking crazy it is for kids now. We didn't have active shooter drills and stuff like that, but I remember, like, even in Salina, you had to have backpacks you could see through and shit like that for a while to either mesh or whatever.
That was so y'all didn't steal shit.
Well, it was both.
Right.
That was right after Columbine too, wasn't it?
That's what I mean. After Columbine, it was to keep kids from like bringing guns and shit to school, and it's weird because I kind of sort of forget about that part of it. But
Well, it went away pretty quick.
yeah, but on the flip side, like even now today, like what I'm talking about, Katie, it took Katie months to even register this fact that I'm about to share with y'all, which is that my house, where my Meemaw lives now, and the house I grew up in Salina, when we go there, the boys, what is now like the boys' playroom where all their toys and shit are,
Yeah.
that's also where my pa's gun cabinet is, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
right.
locked or anything. Like
No, of
their
course
playroom
not. You got to
is,
be able to get to it.
yeah, right. They just play there by like, 17 guns or
Yeah.
whatever. None of them are loaded, whatever. No, there isn't even, it'll be fine. But anyway, Katie, like, this had been the scenario for years, probably literally before Katie ever even realized that was the case. And we both laughed about it because, like, we just didn't even, it just, like, didn't even occur to us even now. And obviously I would never have that situation going on here in Burbank, but it's just like I go back to Salina and it's just like, yeah, well, what?
No, we're
That's the only room we got for both those
Like,
things. What are you supposed to
we're
do?
very, very flippant about guns here. Like I remember, it was not that long ago. I was like driving down the road, and it had to be a couple years ago because I still have my truck. But I was driving down the road, and my dad called me, and he was like, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, what's up?" He goes, "Is my shotgun in your car?" And I was like, I just looked back, and I was like, "Fuck yes, it is. It's right there in the back seat." He's like, "All right, just making sure." Like just stupid shit like that, where like somebody in California hearing this is gonna be like, "Wait,
get pulled over."
right?" Somebody hearing this in California is about, "Whoa, fucking word!" It's like, yeah, I mean, I'd probably been fine.
Last week, I think it was last week, one of my nephews got in school suspension for cutting one of his classmates with his knife. Now, the incident was apparently an accident. They were playing with it, but the way they were playing with it was to, quote, see how sharp it was by trying to cut his shirt.
Yeah.
And then when he went to cut
Shirt
his shirt, his friend grabbed it like, don't do that, and got his finger cut. And
Casualty of shirt chicken.
well, the principal almost expelled him because of the day and age we live in and the fact that the kid was bleeding and blah, blah, blah. I think if my mom weren't who she was, she probably would have. But I can imagine someone hearing that right now in a different area and going like, well, of course, like accident or not, that's a weapon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's all 100% true. But Jake, told me, and my mom said this is true because she taught at that school for a lot of years in terms of the culture. As long as you don't get your knife out, no one cares if you have your knife because they just accept it. Well, it used to be like that with gun racks on the back of your truck.
That's
true. They changed the law.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. High school kids
and
and
I
stuff
can't
before
imagine
all that in Salina, high school kids. Yeah. They all had
I
gun
can't
racks in their
imagine a
truck
California kid now, or even a city kid here in Tennessee, cutting somebody at school and getting just in school suspension.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised that it pocket knife, because as far as knives go,
for the record,
literally everyone had a knife when I was in school. I'm surprised that still goes on though. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not going to speak for you guys, but I just want to throw this out there. Like, I feel like a lot of times when people use the phrase, because of the times we live in, they're often like lamenting the times that we live in and stuff like that. To me, I'm going to go on record as saying it's a good thing that we take things like knives and guns more seriously in school, for the record. But the funny thing is, like, there's people that hear that and they're like, "Oh, well, goddamn, back in my day, we just blah, blah, blah." And then and then you'd bleed out and all y'all are so fucked up in the head. Like, every baby boom right here is like, back in my day, they just start laying out this fucking like court case, like this testimony that should be in a Netflix documentary about how fucked up they are. So like, I'm totally for it. But like, again, to your point though, no, I don't think if I saw a fifth, like, especially if the gun rack, if it was a rack, I gotta assume they didn't just put it up that day. You know what I mean? Like this kid's been around this gun rack and fuck it. You know what I mean? Just as long as he don't bring it to
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
Well, like, I'm not suggesting that accidents don't happen and that they shouldn't be prevented if they can be, but culture is different in different places. And dude, I'm glad it's different in schools too, I suppose. But like, if my nephew had gotten expelled for basically being a dumb redneck, like, I don't know if I'd feel that way because I'd be like, damn, what all did we get away with that he's not allowed to get away with? A, B, one problem, this is only tangentially related, but like with all of the Columbine stuff and the zero tolerance, a lot of times they don't have much of a choice. The choices are kind of overlook it or call the cops. And that's bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
There's
with
no
violence and
conversation.
stuff like that. Right. And that's also scary and a problem, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you 100%. That's kind of, I mean, this is being negative towards the phrase. In the world in which we live, these days, it does seem like it's either sweep something under the rug or go absolutely batshit insane about it. Like there's no room to just be like, let's sit here and talk about the fact that you thought you should stab your friend. So.
Corey, you were talking about how like boomers like back in my day, and they start laying out this nightmare scenario
all the time. It's hilarious.
Have we talked on here before? We may have. But I feel like even it was a long time ago. But that reminded me of when we were watching Tales from the Tour Bus, which I know we talked about that, but that's just it's an animated show where they animate all these legendary stories from the first season is old country artists.
And for my money, it's the greatest single season of a thing. The second one's great too, but the first one's just it's made for me.
It's just old legendary country artists, like stories from back in the day and back on the road and stuff, and then they animate those Mike Judge style. It's Mike Judge, executive producer of it. Show fucking rules. But anyway, me and Corey, when it first came out, were watching it because he was staying with me out here we had shit going on or whatever. We were watching that show at night, and like it's fucking hilarious.
Oh my god,
and it's awesome. But also, like we were having a similar conversation. What you were just saying is, it's like it's that era gets like romanticized. You know what I mean? Like back in like the outlaw days and stuff. And hell, I get that, and I think it's rad too.
For movies, it's great.
Hearing the story and stuff, but like objectively speaking,
terrifying.
Those guys were fucking lunatics,
literal lunatics,
or not be allowed to act the way that they acted, because they'll tell stories on there and be like, Jerry Lee Lewis just runs his manager's office and just shoots a goddamn Tommy gun all across the top of people's heads or whatever, and they're telling that story like, oh, that's goddamn killer,
that's killer
for you, that's killer for you.
But
it's like, no, man, you can't be doing that,
because you do go through a couple of emotions, like listening to a story like that. The thing was, what happened was Jerry Lee Lewis, he was partying. He'd had like this 3-day party, and they was on, they was doing some methamphetamine and stuff like that, and everybody passed out like semi-normal people, but he wasn't done hitting, so he comes in to wake them all up by just shooting a Tommy gun that he bought from Al Capone's nephew or some shit. Everybody wakes up and they start hitting again, and your first gut reaction is to be like, goddamn right, fucking partiers, but then your second is like, whoa, what? Like, in what world? Like, if you heard of like one of your comedian buddies, like he was throwing a party and he just woke everybody up by just fucking desk popping, you'd be like, we're not fucking hanging out with that guy anymore. He needs to go to the hospital or prison. But yeah, it does hit to hear. But like, I'm glad that. But like, it's funny because like people are like, yeah, nowadays Luke Bryan would never do that. And say what you will about Luke Bryan, that's fine. But good, I'm fucking glad that he wouldn't do that. That's insane.
Because the thing is, there's still like, because then you further say, Luke Bryan and all them, they're pussies, and they are.
100%, but it has nothing to do with that.
And they don't hit, but like, there's still plenty of. But there's still Sturgill's still out there, and Tyler Childers and all that shit.
Yeah.
Sturgill even like sang about that in one of his that line where he's like, the only outlaw, the most outlaw thing I ever done was give a good woman a ring, which is just him saying like, I'm not a fucking outlaw. I'm not gonna act like I'm an outlaw, but I still hit like a motherfucker. So like, you can still hit without having that whole element of it. And yes, of course, it's better that they're not, because the other underside of that whole, because it wasn't just country music, it was all the whole story about rock stars and shit, and the seedy underbelly of all that is like real gross. You know what I mean? Like with all the groupies and shit like that or whatever that used to go along with it, or like 14 years old and that whole thing that everybody just acts like never happened now, but like, that type of shit, it ought not still happen.
It shouldn't. and not to make everything about race, but I'm going to for a second. The same people, like the old timers who were like, by God, that was the best. Country stars nowadays are pussy. People need to be more like that. I want to just be like, listen to gangster rap. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they're like,
Right.
that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
And that don't hit for you. But like, if you really like that outlaw shit, like, there's a lot of these dudes who are like still fucking, you know, cripping and blooding, dude. Like, you can get that if you want to, but like, you know, that's a problem.
Or follow all these little TikTok YouTube stars, because it seems to me from the few tabloid pieces I've seen on them, they're the ones partying like rock stars now. I mean,
No
and
doubt.
of course, and the real explanation is, if you're famous at 21, you
Yeah.
act like an idiot.
Oh,
And
dude.
in music, it's much harder to do that, like especially in country now.
Yeah.
I feel like, I could be wrong, but I feel like if, you know, BJ Barham or Tyler Childers or some of these folks had gotten mega famous, were on tour bus at 21 with a lot of fans, I don't think they'd have shot anybody. Don't misinterpret what I'm about to say, but like, it would have been wilder.
Of
I think
course.
another thing that's happened is people are getting famous later in life now in a lot of music arenas.
Well, in that genre, at least, like the country music that we consider good, like, it's almost you don't pop, you know, young. Like, that's kind of we only allow those dudes to hit once they've had like sort of a storied indie career and have paid their dues and stuff like that. But we've talked about this before with LeBron James and Drew. I'm pretty sure that you've brought it up about Justin Bieber. It's like the fact that Justin Bieber has never murdered or like been accused of rape or like some high profile theft is like, he must be a pretty goddamn good dude. Cause like, he'd been famous since he was 9.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I don't
the
like,
worst story about LeBron.
Justin Bieber has like, there have been stories of him like he'll have throngs of adoring fans outside of his hotel room and stuff, and he'll go out on the balcony and just like spit on them and shit like that. And
That's
they're like,
fine.
"Ooh,
Hell, they're
spit on
being
me."
weird. They're bothering him at the hotel.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm not sure that Justin Bieber, you know, I feel like he ain't raping and murdering, and you know, good for him. That hits, but
That's it. Bars real high for men.
But yeah, but I don't know. I feel like he's got to be at least a little bit of a
Okay,
shithead,
but
don't you
to
think?
I don't
defend
think
him, to defend
For the
him,
record, I don't think I ever brought up Bieber, but maybe I did. With LeBron, the worst story I ever heard was strip club on his birthday, and his wife didn't know he was going.
Yeah.
And man, if that's that, but for the record, that ain't the worst thing LeBron James has ever done. There ain't no way.
Well,
If it is, he's literally Jesus. But if that's the worst story that ever came out about you, you're probably doing something right. If you've literally been able to do anything you want since probably 17.
let me defend Justin Bieber a little bit by saying I've only written one book, but if my dad woke me up from a nap, I'd spit on his goddamn face. You know what I'm saying? Like, let alone a gaggle of fucking idiot teenagers sitting outside my hotel room. That's bullshit.
I just remember, the only reason I remember this is because one of the times I wrote a packet for one of those writers programs or whatever a few years ago, there was a sketch in one of them about Justin Bieber, and it was actually kind of defending him, the sketch, because the whole point of it was like, everybody forgets, like, this is a fucking child, because this is like 5, you know, he was like 16 or whatever at the time, and it's like, that was sort of the point of the sketch. But the reason that the sketch was even relevant and topical at the time was because there had been a rash of stories that had come out about Justin Bieber kind of being a little tyrant and a shithead or whatever. But again, you would, of course, you know, A, he may have changed a lot since then. I don't know. I'm not trying to disparage the Biebs, but B, like your old point is like, it's insane. It's insane if he's not. Like, it's
Right.
And
Yeah,
like,
and
LeBron James, yeah, he's a
and-
whole another level. But like, this whole thing is true for sports too, as far as like they used to be that way. But like, in sports, you just literally can't anymore. Like, the competition level got so high that you can't show up to the game hungover like Kenny Stabler used to do and go out there and still hit, because the other guys will wreck your shit.
Right.
So you just can't do that no more.
And you know, though, back in the day, like with these Mike Judge stories, which is what brought this up, though, like a lot of those, yeah, don't get me wrong, when a lot of the crazy stories happened, they were famous, and that's why these stories are even out there. But like, there was also people talking about them acting this way like long before they had ever started to hit. So like, it almost makes you think, like, back then men were just allowed to do whatever the fuck, like that wasn't, like, I mean, don't get me wrong,
White
fame,
men,
white men,
yes,
like, yeah,
very
like,
much so.
yeah, like, don't get me wrong, fame is going to exacerbate that. but like they already just had like, you know, before he got, well, no, it was right when he started to hit. Jerry Lee Lewis started fucking his 14-year-old cousin. Lord.
Yeah, he did.
They just
He did.
that's just a thing in that, by the way. That's
Mhm.
just a footnote in the life of this fucking
Yeah,
lunatic.
well, because everybody knows that part. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Everybody knew that. This other stuff, that's the juicy stuff.
But yeah, like a lot of it was just like they, you know, the white man, Lord God, son. And that's why, like nowadays, it must feel like if people think they're being oppressed just because they can't go into a party and shoot a fucking Tommy gun over people's like that's like yeah, it has been quite a steep fall, but like it's just because we was just allowed to do way, and of course we was born now, but still, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
It's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'd be dead.
Yeah, back before they outlawed the hits.
Yeah, man. Jesus,
Well,
God.
That's why, you know, they are all mad, especially
Yeah,
the older
yeah,
ones.
yes.
They can remember.
Right.
Yeah.
And one thing, and I did a bit about this. I didn't do it when we did our show because it felt insensitive, frankly. It was a lot funnier before even more people died. But I think if we're not going to kill these old white men, and we're not, like,
We're not.
we don't have the power or the resources, then we got to start compromising with them. You know, like give them a day to just like, you know, call people gay for wearing pink. You know what I mean? Like just, you know what I'm saying? Just make deals with them.
Well, my
you know
thing
what I'm
though is
saying?
that like they can, like most of them can do that, and they like
yeah, but you got to make it official. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, like
No,
at
but-
work you can't walk around just being like, "What's up, Thompson? You big old silly queer," you know. But like
I bet
most
they
of-
do. Thompson, when Thompson hears this, he'll text. I'm pretty sure that the people
Right.
at work they do say exactly that to him.
But
But you got to make it official. It's not
right.
You know
They
what I
have
mean? You got to
like
make
that
it a
Patrice
day.
that Patrice O'Neill
Yes.
About sexual harassment.
I thought of
National
that too.
Harassment Day.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you that I'd like for you to suck my dick in the broom closet. No, okay, keep the flowers. Those are for you. Yeah, no, I hear you, but like for the most part, like you know, like most of the and I know there's dudes in the corporate world. I just don't hang out with them as much. That like they really are upset that they can't run. Like you know, my dad would tell me stories about when he had my job. He'd just run around pinching the secretary's ass, and you could say this, and like I'm sure that they are like, yeah, I do have to actually change my behavior. But the people I'm hearing it from are dudes who are not like they are not. They throw out this word cancel, and I'm like, dude, do you realize that you got to be on TV to get canceled? You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't in the game. No one is fucking canceling your old ass.
Ain't nobody subscribed to you. So
Exactly
how
what
they
I'm
gonna
saying. Like
cancel it?
you can't be canceled. You are in a shed, and last time I seen you, you was in a shed. And 10 years ago, you was in this shed, just drunk in a shed, and that's fine. Y'all can
Cancel the shed.
say whatever you fucking want to say. Like no, and by the way,
And
you're
they
saying
do.
it. You're
And they
saying it
do.
right now.
Right.
They're like, you can't
Right.
even say insert this word, this word, this word, this word. I'm like, you're
Yeah.
fucking saying it right now.
You just
Do you
said
have a
them all.
Twitter? You're 85. You
Yeah.
don't have a fucking Twitter. You can say whatever you want. Nobody is
Right.
canceling you, you old dumb motherfucker. So I don't get it.
Hey,
Well, I mean, and you know, or they get paid $80 million to say all the words.
Yeah, right. That's another thing
that they're getting canceled.
Oh, it's so great. My dad, and it kind of infuriates me because my dad will my dad loves to he'll show me that clip of you know, whenever Joe Rogan starts going on about cancel culture, you can't say this. He'll send me this clip. I'm like, Dad, you just sent me a clip of Joe Rogan saying all that shit and literally making the most money that a podcast person can make. Like, it's not real. Like if Joe Rogan is doing it and nothing's happening to him, then it ain't real. He just tells it like blah, blah, blah. So it's so fucking infuriating. Just say what the fuck you want to say. And if enough people feel that way, you'll be fine. I don't know what to tell you. It's so goddamn stupid, especially, as I said, if you're 85 years old, just going to Hardee's every morning, grab that lady's ass, see what happens. I don't know what to tell you. Just fucking do it. Live your fucking life.
Buy a shed.
Buy a shed.
Circling back to the ass pinching, this is not a novel concept. This has been brought up before, but you know, one thing I always think when that type of thing comes up, the whole the Mad Men guys who could pinch the asses and stuff all day and whatever the hell they wanted, it's just like, I don't know how they ever got anything done because they also got fucking drunker than fuck and like eating they ever had. Like, you know, they walk in, they uncork the crystal decanter and pour out some whiskey. And it's like, it's 11. Like, you got you got 5 more of these today. Like, I don't know how anything ever got, because I know how that would go if I was doing that. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you.
Me too.
Exactly how they got stuff done. They got it done in the first 2 hours because houses were $4. Everyone that had that job inherited a fucking mansion from their parents. They didn't pay hardly any like land taxes or inheritance taxes back then. They did have really high income taxes, for the record. And it was just fine if you had 2 accounts and that was your whole career. Like, corporate culture was just so different.
And
it's
there
weird,
was
though,
a lot less competition.
On the flip, yes. But on the flip side of that, manual labor culture was worse. And if you had to work 6 days a week, because hadn't, the union. Anyway, just that's how. Like, Don Draper worked 20-hour work weeks.
Right.
But
and a lot of the blacks and the ladies were really doing a lot of the work and just not getting the credit. It's probably another thing that happened.
Right. And they weren't allowed to drink. They had to drink a different colored liquor.
Yeah, but another thing is just like, I mean, y'all be getting drunk at lunch every now and then, or y'all have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I have to go to sleep.
Y'all?
I have to go to sleep a couple
hours. I was about to say, you fucking fat drunk piece of shit saying y'all.
Well, that ain't what I meant. I then said, how I'd respond to it.
No, dude. Okay, so
that's another part. Just the sheer, like, just as a as a person who would do that,
they take a nap,
just drool on their their big mahogany desk, drooling all over it.
Well, I can
Corey
tell you,
can do his job drunk.
Well, no, but I was gonna say, at the risk of sounding like this guy, because I'm currently starting week 4 of sobriety. I don't think I was getting a lot done. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, like, I wanted to think, like, man, no, I get hammered all the time and I still do that. But, like, I don't know, man. Like the shit that the stuff I've been able to do in the past 4 weeks, I don't know. Like, if I was doing it while I was drunk, I don't know how, because man, I need to, like, sleep, man. I didn't realize. Trae's been telling me for a while. I ain't gonna front. Like, Trae's been like, for a long time, Trae's been like, dog, you don't understand. You gotta try this thing I do every night called go the fuck to bed. It's wild. Like, it is wild how you will just, like, wake up. You know what I mean? Like, whoo, holy shit, it's another day. It's light outside. This is insane. So, like, no, man, I don't think I was. Now, granted, like, there are some different type human beings. Like, Bert Kreischer, man, he is the type of dude that, like, that motherfucker just be getting hammered, and he'll be like, all right, guys, thanks for the moonshine. I'm going to go catch this meat and then go do a fucking set at the store. I can't, like, I just was not functioning at a great level. And, now I do got to take a nap. Like, I can't, when football, or not football, but, when the NFL first started back or whatever, or no, it couldn't have been that. Maybe it was basketball, because I hadn't drank it for it. What happened?
This dog just got stung by a bee and was freaking out, and then he just bit it to death.
Bit the bee to death?
One of them.
He bit, look at.
Oh, dude. I wonder if the bee stung him in his mouth, and he's going to have that hilarious where it looks like the dog got a chaw in.
Yeah.
Them pictures always hit for me.
Sorry, that noise. I was like, what's that dog doing?
Oh, no, it was last year. That's what I'm thinking. God, time, it really is a flat circle. Like, things are really just starting to run together, but, like, used to, man, during football season or whatever, I'd start drinking. I'd wake up at like 9, 10 o'clock. We'd get the tailgate set up at home or whatever. You just go ahead and start drinking. And, like, I'm still up by the 9 p.m. game, like, when Auburn's playing or whatever. But now, like, buddy, if I start drinking at like 9 o'clock in the morning, I mean, by 1, I'm out. I got to go to fucking bed for a minute. And then it's, oh, good, I get 2 hangovers. So, no, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how they did it, except for, like, back then, though, dudes, like we said, the white man literally never had to sober up because they could just drive drunk. They could just be drunk at the hospital. The doctors were drunk. So, like, that's the key, is that, like, they never had to take that nap. They just stayed blackout fucking drunk all the time, drove home, ran over a bunch of people, and then just slept it off and got
wife.
Yeah, dude, because, like, nowadays, like, we live in such a world that, like, like, hey, you got to sober up for at least to take this picture or something, like, not back then, dude. They just fucking brown liquor morning, noon, and night. Like, no,
Guys, that's proof of how short amount of time Corey's been sobering up for things in his life. That the example he came up with was taking a picture.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
now,
the easiest thing. It's just so funny. You're like, now you got to sober up for stuff, you know.
Well,
like,
what I'm saying
and then
is
your
like,
brain went, take a picture.
what I'm saying is now if you're drunk as fuck all the time, like everybody knows more because like there's Facebook, there's Instagram. We live more of like a social.
Well, Corey, you probably recall that one of the last times you and I, and also Drew, but he wasn't hammered, that you and I took pictures together.
Yeah.
We were very drunk and everybody knew, and it did not hit for them.
No, for us,
it did for us. We had a great time. Yeah. Corey literally got naked, held a pineapple in front of Nick. It was,
and I never would have done that sober.
Right. Yeah.
The
That's different.
We, went on TV
we
together,
can be drunk.
I'm pretty sure.
You're right. We
Either
are
the
allowed to be drunk.
Either last time or the next last time we went on TV together, you had not gone to bed yet, and you were robe pretending to be British.
Yep.
Because you were drunk.
Still drunk. I also very high. I don't want to let weed off the. I don't want to let weed off the hook that easily. Like you know, I'm just saying. Like I was stoned, tired, drunk. Yeah, man. Okay, we live a different life. But here's the deal. That was not me at my best. I shouldn't have done that.
Disagree strong.
Right.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Oh man, how are you guys doing on the drinking front? Have you like a plateau? Because like when this whole shit first started, like of course everybody was like drinking like it was the apocalypse because it was. But like, have y'all plateaued, or are y'all still going in like pretty hard? With food, nothing has changed. I'm the same fat. I'm going in so hard on food.
As I texted y'all on the group text with Thompson the other day, because we talked about last week, like starting a couple weeks ago, I outlined my plan that I was doing to try to get, which was
that
like,
never
works. I'm not getting high at night. Instead, I'm drinking 3 to 5 White Claws because whenever I get high, I eat everything in the house, and even though it's booze, it's way fewer calories, and I think this makes sense. And you were like, yeah, that's Cho math. It's me, whatever.
And worked, by the way.
Thompson, I talked to Thompson on the phone a couple days after that, and he was talking about how it cracked him up. She's like, I love how you're like, yeah, my new healthcare routine is, you know what I do right before bed? I drink about 5 beers. She's like, those are good beers, whatever. Which that is funny. I get it. But I was like, no, I know. I'm not trying to act like I understand that part of it. And I know it is comical. But I still think I'm objectively correct in my rationale or whatever. And then, like I texted y'all the other day, no, I haven't been drinking White Claws at night anymore. And what I have been doing is defiling myself with fucking pizza and dollar store salami and all this embarrassing shit. And it's like, I just don't know that it's any better. And of course, to everyone out there, I know it would be preferable for me to do neither. I know that.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Here's why that happens. And I could adjust this too, and I just don't. I've been breakfast here. I sleep late. It's 1:30 in California right now. I haven't eaten shit today. I'll go in there when we get done, and I'll eat probably like a sandwich or a can of fucking Campbell's soup or something. Not that much, 400-ish calories. Then at dinner, I will gorge. But still, by the time it gets to be 7 or 8 o'clock, 8 or 9 o'clock at night, I'm 6 foot, 200 some odd pounds. And I will have consumed like 1,500 calories that day, which is nothing.
No.
So I get legitimately hungry. I'm going to eat again.
Yeah.
No matter what. Or I could drink 5 beers.
Dude, listen, if your goal,
as of right now, I'm not doing the beers.
But defend you,
I took those out again because they also don't hit. Hell, I don't know, nothing hits.
No,
I'm eating apples in the morning, whatever, and just get over it. But I don't know what to tell you. But I'm not drinking right now. I'm not.
Well, if your goal is just to lose the weight, then I can't say, oh, stop the drinking, because I'm like I said, I'm going into week 4 of sobriety. I have gained 4 pounds, which is insane, because usually it's oh, you stop drinking, it's going to just fall off of you. But no, apparently what happened was when I was drunk all the time, I was just drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would have those defiling moments, but apparently it was just once a day that I would have those defiling moments. And now, cause I wake up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. a lot, and I just get up and I go to fucking Hardee's. And then I'm not smoking neither, no nicotine whatsoever. So I'll go to Hardee's twice in one goddamn day. I've nixed that just in the past week. In the past week, I'm not going to Hardee's twice a day. Dude, actually, fuck that. 3 times a day sometimes because I get 2 breakfasts. And then at lunchtime, I'm like, fuck this. I want a burger. And then in my brain, I was like, well, you're not drinking, so it's fine. Like normally you'd have like 17 beers tonight and you're not going to have that. So like, you know, treat yourself to a burger, live your life. But like, no, I'm doing way much more burgers than I ever was beer. So, but here's the deal though. I feel better than I ever have. And I'm slowly starting to, every day is getting a little bit better. And they're like, okay, you're not craving sugar as much. Take this out, take this out. It's a slow journey, but we're getting there. I still feel better, but like it is discouraging to like enter 4 weeks of sobriety and you've gained weight. Like that ain't it. It's like that ain't fun.
Just in between versions of suicide.
Yeah, well, man's got to have something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I do.
No, every single time I've ever been drinking a lot for any kind of extended amount of time and then stop completely. Every time I've ever done that, for at least the first few days after I stop, I'm just a cow, just an unfettered pig, fucking fat piece of shit. Like I eat so much, I cannot be satiated.
Did you see that tweet I put up this morning? This morning I woke up and because I drink a lot of coffee, but I use sugar-free, fat-free, like no-calorie creamer. You know what I mean? Well, I woke up this morning and Amber, I guess, had used the last of the creamer. But I'm so used to now, like I want my coffee to have a little flavor. I didn't have nothing. I put a goddamn spoonful of pudding in my coffee this morning, and it hit real hard.
It was morning coffee hit.
It was cheesecake.
You ever
pudding.
done ice cream,
Bro? When we had Laura Lou's, every single morning I put a different scoop of ice cream in my coffee, and I found that blackberry cobbler was my favorite.
It's honestly a testament to something that you are not 350 pounds. Like the fact that
anxiety.
Yeah,
right. Or dead.
Do what? Anxiety?
Okay. Yeah, dead. I do think that like well, first off, you know, I've done a lot of uppers, like a shit ton of cocaine and like all that stuff, like while fat. And I think that like my heart was just like, it was still getting, it in. And also like I do, you know, I pace around a lot because I'm an anxious person. And also like, I've always been one of those type of people that's so vain that like,
the pacing theory.
I do have a number that like every time I get to it or start approaching it, I will like lay off for at least a couple days before I get there. And I've never gone above it. Like never once have I gone above my ultimate fat. I get right there, but then I'm really good about like, nope, you can't go further than this. So like for 2 weeks, I'll be good. I'll lose like 15 pounds. And then it's just a race to get back to that fat again. So like, that's the only reason that I'm not 300 pounds is because I cut at 236. That's the number of like, nope, you got to go back the other way, lose 20 pounds. So next week you can eat a whole pizza in bed. For the record, everybody listening, I don't do cocaine anymore. Would hit, but I don't. It don't hit no more, really, is why I don't let me off the hook. Cocaine started sucking, is why I don't. If cocaine still hit, I'd be doing it right this second.
Does it? I mean,
look how pink I am. Look at my face.
So very pink and porcine right now. It's wonderful. I wanted to get y'all's. I want y'all to weigh in on a very serious debate that me and Thompson had.
Go ahead.
On the Salina group chat recently while watching a football game. And it's okay, you know, I don't care. You could side with him, whatever. I just give me your honest opinion here.
So are you gonna tell us which side you were and which side he was?
Yeah. I thought about not, but I'm just gonna tell you the sides of the debates. We were watching a football game, and it was when the Titans played the Broncos on Monday Night Football, and the Broncos have a tight end who was a great tight end in college. He's had injury problems in the league and hasn't really caught on yet, but he's getting some playing time now. Fuck the Broncos though. And the tight end's name is Jake Butt.
Hitting
And
name. I agree.
B-U-T-T Butt. It's not like B-U-T-T-E or whatever. It's Jake, B-U-T-T, Jake Butt.
Yeah.
He plays tight end. He played at Michigan. He's like Midwestern Big Ten tight end. And his name's Jake Butt. And this is a debate me and Thompson had on the group chat. Thompson was saying, if your last name is Butt and you have a kid, you got to do better than Jake. And I was like, honestly, I think Jake is a perfect first name for a name, but 2 syllables is all you need when one of them is Butt. Jack would be even better, though. Jack Butt. It would be 3 syllables, but Randy would hit Randy Butt. Give me an example of what you got in mind, Thompson. I can be swayed on this. And he said, no, if your last name is Butt, you got to go with like Aladdin or Grommet or something like that. It's got to He's like, it's got to overpower Butt. Otherwise, your name is just Jake Butt.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, but if your last name is going to be Butt, then your name should just be Jake Butt. And Thompson's like, yeah, I guess you're right. If your name is Butt, you're the kind of guy that names his son Jake. And I said, well, yeah, his old man's probably Dick Butt. Thompson said, maybe his dad's name is Equanimous, but just wanted Jake to be able to blend in. And I said, Jake Butt is a very, very Big Ten name is all I'm saying. I think it works. And then something happened in the game. We moved on to actually talking about football. So I just want to know how y'all feel.
I mean, I think it's one of those situations where it's like, you know, you fuck one goat, like it's always going to be Butt. Like what is going to,
you can't overpower Butt. I agree.
But at the same time, like, I mean, if I've also never heard of a motherfucker named like if there was a white tight end named Aladdin Butt, Aladdin would at least get some play. You know what I mean? Like you might stop short for me, but his name's Aladdin Butt. Aladdin. Wait a minute, hold on. You say Butt? You might stop short for a second, but like ultimately, it's like Neil Brennan's joke about the NWA. Do you really need the WA? I feel like the N's doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, the N's doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
I feel like Butt does most of the work on that one, and like it's always going to come back to Butt. So I think you both made very valid points, but ultimately I'm going to go with you.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a name that would matter. If your name was like Aloysius Butt.
Aloysius Butt.
Yes. I think
like that also hit what he's saying also hit.
That's what I'm saying. I think you could make your name cool. And Jake Butt is such an uncool name. Like if you heard
I don't know.
Hey, Aloysius Butt have 5 touchdowns last night, you'd be like, what? Does he also a rapper? What's his story?
You know what?
Right.
You know what Jake Butt has probably said at one point in his life. He said, "Call me Jake. Mr. Butt is my father." Oh, I'm pink with glee.
Where I come down is, I think it's difficult. I'm not sure Aladdin does it. I think if the overpowering first name is cool enough, it would work.
Kobe Butt.
Like Aloysius Butt is pretty good.
Yeah, that's the best one I could come up with. But like, what was the other one he said after Aladdin?
Grommet.
Grommet Butt.
Grommet Butt.
That's worse than Jake Butt. Undeniable.
Yeah, that's a Grommet chimney sweep from the 1880s.
That's
Grommet Butt.
Grommet Butt.
Yeah.
Like imagine his first day at the University of Michigan when all the just stand up and introduce themselves.
Yeah.
My name's Grommet Butt. I play tight end.
Rasputin Butt.
But
be a good one.
You're right about the whole
Silas
thing
Butt
about
might
Aloysius and all that. But like, I just feel like again, Copernicus Butt. I get all that.
Copernicus J. Butt,
Yeah.
comma, attorney at law.
Yeah.
I'd hire him. Put that on a billboard.
Yeah, that does hit. I just meant that like, okay. I just meant that like again, put the whole thing into context. You got a big corn-fed white boy who plays tight end in the Midwest for the Big Ten. I just feel like Jake Butt is
it
like
fits.
It fit. It works.
No one's
like
denying that it
perfectly.
fits.
Yeah. Okay.
But
All
I
right.
thought the conversation was in terms of what you do to your kid. Tell that same story you just told, and maybe he don't make it to the league, or he has to retire in 5 or 6 years because he got hit in the head too much from too many headbutts. You got Aloysius Butts, Delicious Butts, and he sells pig barbecue in Iowa. He's making $1 billion a year.
Well,
Whereas Jake Butt has to sell insurance, and people are gonna be like, "Yeah, he was pretty good, but I don't trust him for some reason."
I mean, look, here's something I'll throw out there. Maybe I'm stupid. Change the butt. Like you don't. I'm saying you don't like
No, you
Prince.
gotta keep
Prince
the
went by a
butt. You
symbol. You
can't.
think you got to stick with butt just because you come from a long line of butts?
Buddy, people who come from a long line of butts are sticking with the butt. I promise you.
That's true.
You can't be the one, yeah.
No, old man Jack Butt, father
That's
of
true.
Jake Butt. There
It's
ain't
way-
no way he'd punch you in the goddamn
Well,
mouth for suggesting
it's
that they get
also-
rid of the butt.
It's also more embarrassing.
His daddy was a butt. His daddy was butt.
It's also more embarrassing for people to find out that you used to be a butt than it is for you to just be a butt now. Like you change it to something, they're like, "You know who used to be a butt?"
There's a French last name, Chati, I
Boot.
think is what it is, and it looks like shithead, like on paper.
Shathid.
I don't know. Here's what I'm saying is that Jake Butt sounds lame as a name, but
Yeah, it is.
Aloysius Butt sounds cool. My niece is loving both of them, for the record.
What up, girl? Aloysius butt.
Aloysius Butt. That does hit.
Because Butts hit. Butts are
Butts
cool.
do hit.
But
There was
Jake Butt sounds so lame.
It does.
I
Quit
don't
being
know.
a butt.
I think it also. I don't think it sounds lame. I think it even sounds like from a 40s detective novel or something. Like
Yeah,
Detective
but he don't solve
Detective
it.
Jake Butt.
Yeah, but he don't
Private
solve it.
Eye. You know what I
He's
mean?
like,
Like
yeah,
that
but
hits.
he's in the
Private
but
stink eye.
no, it don't hit. He's
It
in
does
the way.
hit.
He's in the way of our hero.
Detective
Like,
butt.
Jake, I knew when I walked into Jake Butt's office, I had a struggle. Like, he's not cool. He's got an army haircut, and he hates communists.
Yeah.
Oh,
His sergeant yelling at him like, "But I thought I told you to turn in your badge." Yeah, well, I got a listening problem.
God
Detective
damn it,
Jake Butt.
butt.
Ever since I was little, growing up with my brother Aloysius, I've had a chip on my shoulder.
So, couple of tangentially related things to this have cracked me up. One of the Titans players got kicked out of that game for punching Jake Butt in the face. You know,
Yeah.
and he already got kicked out. That would be our best too. But anyway, there was a tweet about that the next day or a few days later because he got fined. Rashawn Evans, linebacker for the Titans, he got fined for punching Jake Butt. And in the tweet where it said the amount he got fined or whatever, the last sentence said, "Slugging Butt will ultimately cost the linebacker $50,000 or whatever it was." Well, I first read that while high the other night,
Yeah.
and it killed me.
It's funny.
And I took a screenshot of it and sent it to y'all, and I was like, "Look, slugging butt." He said slugging butt. And then it was on Reddit, and after I'd already did that, and Katie's sitting there like, "What are you laughing at?" And I was like, "I don't want to tell you. Don't worry about it." And that had already happened before I even clicked on the link, the Reddit link, which opens up the comments underneath it. I'd already done all that and was already laughing about it. And then I opened the actual link. The top comment on Reddit just said in all caps, "Slugging butt." Oh my God. LMAO, it's like, "Slugging butt." Ah. And dude, that fucking killed me all over again. I was giggling so hard. Katie was like, she was getting annoyed. She's like, "What is so funny?" And I was like, "Please don't make me tell you." And the other thing it reminded me of, and I know I posted about it at the time, sent it to y'all at the time, but this is like 2013 now. This is years ago. But when I still lived in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, a building went up for sale in like a very prominent, highly trafficked part of Oak Ridge. And the name of the real estate agent who was selling the building, so it's on the sign, the real estate sign in front of the building. The name of the real estate agent was Dick Bales, Bales.
Yeah.
And so, of course, some enterprising teenager in the Oak Ridge area whited out the top lines on the E, so it said "Contact Dick Balls," and it looked like you couldn't. This kid did such a good job because, like, driving by it, you could not
Trae's so
tell.
proud of him.
Yeah, I am. I swell with pride because driving by it, you couldn't tell that it had been altered at all. Like, it looked like the actual sign. It was like for sale, dick balls, and dude, I laughed over that shit. I mean, I'm still laughing about it 7 years later. Like that type of like sophomore work ass shit like that. Like I don't understand people who cannot laugh at stuff like that. Like
they're lying to
like
themselves.
Juvenile as hell, but that's fucking funny. That's
Dude, they're lying to
funny.
themselves. Those people, the people that are like, oh, how can you be so immature? Those people are so uninteresting and so untalented and don't hit at so much level that they think that, like, by pretending to be bigger than something that literally everyone has come together and said hits, that they must, this will make me such an adult. I'm past this. I'm a fucking serious blah, 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 blah. Fuck you, man. If you drive by a sign that says for sale, contact dick balls, and your first thought isn't, I better pull over so I can show this to everyone I've ever met, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you. I hope, never mind. Never mind. I was going to bring it full circle. I ain't going to.
I made a mistake because it could never stand up to the thing itself, the picture itself. But I remember what I posted. I took a picture of it, posted it, tweeted it, said, if anybody needs a real estate agent, I heard this guy's a total package. Am I right? Hey, yeah.
You got it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Dick balls, man.
Dick balls, son. Can't beat it.
Good. Can't beat
Can't
it.
beat
No. Oh, shit. Well, I mean,
well, boys,
it's been about an hour, and I don't know where to go from dick balls.
No.
Yeah, I guess there's no reason to talk about politics at this point.
Let's get out of here, boys. Obviously, thank you guys so much for listening to the WellRED podcast. Subscribe, download, tell all your friends. Also, listen to our sister podcast I've got, Through the Screen Door with Corey Ryan Forster, and also
Evening Skews, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific if you want to be there live. If you don't, you can watch the videos on Facebook or YouTube, or you can find the audio weekly right here.
And I got Into the Biscuit with Mr. DJ Lewis, the fan favorite of the WellRED podcast guests. Every Monday it comes out. We have a show we're doing every Friday. We did it this Friday, and it was great. We're doing it on Zoom. You just Venmo or PayPal me $5. You can go to my social media to figure out how to do that if you want, and you can get the link to our comedy show, and it is fun. I also have a live comedy show in Nashville in a park outdoors this Sunday. I'm going to try it. If you're in the Nashville area and you want to go to a park and sit 8 feet away from everybody and try stand-up comedy, come see if it works. I'll probably end up screaming at a homeless man I think is a cop.
Yep, that checks out. All right.
there you go.
I'm still giggling over dick balls. All right, see y'all next week.
Dick Buckus. You remember Men on Film?
What?
On Men on Film, the sketch on In Living Color?
I don't think I do.
It was two gay dudes.
Oh, yes.
It was
yes, I
two
do.
very offensively
gay.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, Damon or Keenan Ivory was dressed in pink and like, yeah.
It was Damon and David Allen Greer.
I remember it. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, they were.
And they did. Remember when they did the sports one, Men on Sports?
Uh-huh.
My favorite play is Dick Buckus.
Oh yeah.
And their favorite players were Dick Buckus and Mike Ditka. And you want to talk? I mean, those were the funniest jokes ever to me.
Of course.
At that time, and still, every time he said Dick Buckus, I like it when he plays tight end. Killed me every time.
So hey, while we're here, we have a pitch tomorrow.
Bobby has emailed us.
Bobby just
asking
emailed
if
us.
we want to do a practice run.
Okay.
'Cause if he hadn't, I was going to reach out to him, but he
Okay.
has.
Well, never mind then.
Okay. Anyway, you can.
Amber
respond to it in your
pulled
own
a
way.
Katie today.
What does that mean in this circumstance?
Yesterday, Palmer needs to be
We had
groomed.
2 kids unexpectedly.
Palmer needs to be groomed, and last night I said, "Okay, Amber, Tuesday and Wednesday are no good for me, but Thursday and Friday is fine. But Tuesday and Wednesday I have pitches, and today I get a text. It's like 10:30 tomorrow. Blah 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 blah."
Yeah.
So, which it is going to be fine.
By the way, we have a pitch Thursday. By the way.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you're
Unless
right.
there's 31 days in this month.
No, you're right.
No,
I'm
we do.
stupid. I'm stupid. Whatever. Don't matter.
But, yeah. Don't matter. Still, tomorrow you gotta take your dog.
Yeah, yeah. So
How long
okay,
does that take?
it's I already told her, I was like, look, I'll take him, but if they take a long time, you're just gonna have to go fucking get him. I don't know what to tell you. It'll be fine. You know, dude. Obviously, I'm not in any way gonna compromise the fucking pitch. Don't worry about me. It was just a Raven.
Well, the
thing
reason
that
I
happened.
asked is Bobby's asking about noon.
I responded and said
Well, that's-
12:30. I almost said 1. I don't like. We definitely need to practice it, and I think it's good to practice it right before. I don't see the point in doing it so much before that by
No,
the time we
once.
get practicing, we've got like an hour to kill between then and the actual thing. Like I
Well,
would rather
that's
do
also
it like
just
we've
gives
done
him
it
enough
before.
time to change stuff, which drives me insane.
Yeah, dude. I listen, man. And I try every week to like at least subtly say something, but like I'm gonna have to just say, but like, dude, listen, we got it. Quit changing shit. Of course, I know it seems like you want to change stuff because we've done it a million times, but these motherfuckers are just now hearing it. It's funny. Fucking stop. It don't hit. It's dumb. Also, yeah, like I'm with you. Let's do it right before to where it's like we do it and then boom, click over and let's goddamn do it again. That's how I feel.
I'm with you,
Well, back me
fellas.
up then. I just sent a follow
I
up
will.
that said, or even 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because running through it one whole time and talking about that, I feel like is enough. And running through it will take between 25 and 30 minutes. And then discussing it, I feel like that should be enough time, in my opinion. If y'all would rather do a little bit more of a cushion, that's fine with me. But anyway, whatever. You can respond to it, say whatever you want. Are we done?
I'm gonna tell him 11 a.m.
Yeah, don't do that.
All right. Love you. Bye.